Hello, Dr. Ortwin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wu Ji Podcast episode 3. Um, I was thinking we start the podcast with some updates and maybe you can share a bit more about the Bali workshop that happened a few weeks ago, from what I remember. And it was an amazing workshop with Master Dennis, Master Yap, and Anthony from England, from Ireland, right?
Yeah, from Ireland.
Yeah. Maybe we can share some
Yeah,
updates to everybody and how was that workshop? What did people think about it?
yeah.
Would be great.
Uh, yeah, thank you for having me, Marcel. The Bali workshop was a very, very special event because first time we had a specialist in Tuina and Chinese medicine. And the good thing is with Anthony that he learned uh, what we call TCM from the bottom up. So he got access to very, I would call it, native systems of traditional Chinese medicine. And the good thing is that he's really well able to explain everything in detail without being too complicated. And as well for people, not having any kind of glimpse or any kind of knowledge about it. And the best thing, and I must say this is amazing, that Qigong, and especially the 12 steps or any kind of movement, what we do in Qigong can be explained from both sides. You have the experiential side, and you feel something, you can relate to the feeling, you can all of a sudden get some experience of what we call qi and the qi feeling. And as well, you get the structure, the alignment, and you get a proper explanation what kind of system will be addressed. And so we had a unique combination between structure alignment with Master Yap. We had a healing application or direct healing application, Qigong by Master Dennis Wang and with a Han Yang, Ru Yan. And we had the 12 steps, especially we addressed the lung set, lung and large intestine. And by this, we got a full scope with Anthony's knowledge, um, putting it in a full package of practical knowledge, how to do a very simple kind of diagnosis for any kind of system, or for the meridians and for the points as well, pulse diagnosis, and so on and so on. But in a very brief and precise and simple manner so that anyone would be able to understand that and everyone understood. So even me, I learned a lot from that. Things I really didn't know. So it was fantastic. So by this, we, Anthony and me, we just talked about that. Uh, and we saw the unique chance to bring this to uh, uh, to the people in a broader scope. And so we planned a retreat in May in 27 in Germany, in the beautiful Odenwald region. And in this retreat, we will have a very, very special subject. So Master Qi transmitted a Qigong, which is called the healing set or the 5 elements Qigong. And this is deriving to from the source of traditional Chinese medicine, from the famous Dr. Hu. And this set will be taught as well. We will have the medical side in a magnifying glass. So we will have this unique chance to get Qigong on the practical side, um, just getting the Qi running. And then we have the chance to learn what we can do with it on the practical side. And we can just figure out what kind of acupuncture Hu had been invented himself. And Anthony will show a special set of acupuncture and treatments, invented by Hu, because he learned that. And this is quite rare. This is really quite rare. As well, a lot of acupuncturists don't know this. But there are some traditions really hidden, and we have the great fortune that Anthony can just hand it on to us.
Wow, that is really special, and to be honest, it's not easy to learn TCM. Like even if you search online, it's not very easy to get into this subject. So it's
Yeah,
amazing that Anthony is sharing and working with you on this project. I think is going to be super for everybody. And actually,
yeah,
I'm planning to come to that workshop. I think it's a rare
I
opportunity, as
appreciate.
you
Thank
said.
you.
So it's
Yeah,
it's really amazing to. And it's going to be a 5 or 6 day workshop from. It's going to be a bit longer version, right? From what I.
a bit longer, but it's about 4 days intensive. And
Okay.
with 5 days back, half, we have to see. But yeah, it's all already organized, and everyone interested can just check the webpage,
Yeah.
Wu Ji Quan international.org, and you will find the everything for registration.
Okay. I can also search and put the link into the description, so it's going to be easy for people to
Yeah,
find it. But it's amazing how the uh, blend, let's say, between Anthony and the way you're teaching shapes up to this
yeah, and
great
I'm very
workshop.
happy because I've never expected this kind of unique chance to work close to someone, bridging uh, this subjects, bridging this unique synthesis between qi and application. So you have a martial application, and you have a healing application, and you have a contemplative way to play Qigong, and especially the 5 element set has a lot of contemplative, meditative postures. And so we have the healing in a much more dense focus than before, so that everyone can benefit from this synthesis.
Super. This is gonna be amazing. So can't wait. And thank you for sharing this so people can find the details on the website as you mentioned.
Very
Um,
happy.
Now I'm gonna shift the discussion a bit to a subject that I've seen online and people keep asking in different forums
Yeah,
and when I talk to them, they're
yeah.
they're curious to hear more about the forms 1 and 2 and what do you mean sometimes between the characters of these two forms, maybe some particularities or if you can expand a bit more on this.
So Master Chi emphasized that everything which is important to know about Wuji will be embedded in the first two sets of Wuji, of Wu Ji Quan. So these sets are, I would call it, the transmitters between the ground forces, yin and yang. What I call them is the link between how to play with the ground forces and to harness energy from the ground forces like gravity and space, or earth and heaven. So it's again the full spectrum of how to align between heaven and earth, or earth and heaven. So you have this kind of vertical connection and you bring it onto the horizontal scape and horizontal plane, right? So you have the yin as the more receptive one, and the yang as the floating and the rising one, and the creative one. So you have both, and you need both as a foundation for learning further. So, but my approach in teaching them is a bit different because, or different than the classical approach in learning forms. So because these characters have specific characteristics you will find in the full scope of the 16 movement forms in Wu Ji Quan, you have the chance to get to a kind of condensed, brief version of it. I call it Wuji in the pocket. So Wuji in the pocket, by the way, is a brief version, and you can add many parts to it. So you can add on certain, or you can just fetch certain parts which are part of the full form, but you have a very small, unique package, and you can play it endlessly, and you can train it endlessly. And by this training, you get more flexibility in the tendons, in the ligaments, as well in the fascia. And by this natural movement patterns will integrate into you very quickly. And as well, we have in the Wuji Dao training principles, we embed that you can have a short form in a big form. So it's all on our capacities, how we can train in our busy life, right? So what I learned in 30, 40 years is about that it's important to cut down the forms into handleable pieces. And for me, it was really important to understand what I'm doing. Yeah, and by this, I trained every part very, very slow. And by this, I got the impression, and as well, I saw students of master as well, master playing it this way. So you train very slow, and you get, and in a very relaxed way, and you get more resonance in the experience what the movement or what the posture is doing with you. And by this, it's much more getting to images or understanding the form not as a mere frame. No, the form is something which is part of a very natural movement pattern most of us know. But we forgot that this is the fact, or that this is part of our internal knowledge. But when we were small and when we were children, we walked like this all over. We played like this all over. So if you have children playing, toddlers, playing on the ground or everywhere, there is this kind of joyful flexibility, which is part of it. But this does not mean that it's all sloppy or very, very loose. No. It has a certain precision and it has to have, but it's much more important that you arrive, or that the form can arrive into your body. So when you get the transmission, or when you get the teaching of the form, and if you get, or if you are being corrected, this will have an influence on your inner perceptive, proprioceptive capacity. And you can imagine the fascia as a kind of pathway to imprint a posture into you and make you more familiar with it, because it's a hidden known part of you. So it's not something foreign, strange or so, but you get more and more familiar with it. And you have to get familiar with it because your body is unique, and your body will be different from every other body. So everyone has his own capacities to absorb this form or this posture. So in the first form and in the second form, we have what I call different parts, which are which have some special postures. I call them Lohan postures, because these postures are like calligraphies, like signs, like symbols. And when you get to a posture like this, you feel something, because it has a hidden geometry which is aligned, or which is in alignment to certain forces on the ground, especially when you change and you move with this. So the skeleton has a certain structure and there is a posture. And if you are performing this posture and you do it more statically in the beginning, you will feel the energy running through your body from bottom to top and the other way around. So there will be certain lines, diagonal, like the Platonic solids, so you have this triangle, you have the square, and everything. So it's all in there, and it's like a hidden language. So or a hidden code, if you address this code, you get much more benefit, because you are not being stressed to follow everything in a row again and again, repeat, repeat, repeat. No, it's much more about discovery, and with a bit of explanation, and of course a bit of correction, because you need to have this kind of effect. Otherwise, you won't feel it as properly.
This is something I noticed as well, and I'm a person that, same as you, likes to test everything, and I test with people that they have no internal experience. And what I like to do, and I'm always fascinated to see their reaction, is I asked them to do the opening of Wuji one until they root, and then I try to lift them, and they're all super amazed how solid they are and how rooted. And especially sometimes I do with people that have absolutely no experience, and or you ask a father, hey, can you pick your daughter? She's 14 or something. Ask her to do the exercise, and then when they try, it's like, oh my God, it's amazing, and
Yeah, yeah,
they don't know
yeah,
what's happening,
yeah.
but it's amazing that it works with everybody, as you said, like the alignment, the geometry, everything is there, and it works with everybody. I'm really amazed all the time when I do this
Mm,
experiment, and to see their reaction is so fun to watch.
mm,
Um, Also, one thing I noticed myself and also with my students is you mentioned that the move is very natural, but there
mm.
is a small initiation, I would say. Like when you start practicing the form, initially it's like it's a bit weird. You're not moves that I guess you're not in contact since you are a kid, as you mentioned. But then after it becomes a bit part of your system, your body is like, oh, we want more of this move. Like it's a small, I guess it's like a relearning
Yeah, it's addictive.
phase. Yeah, yeah,
It's addictive because it
yeah,
feels so good,
yeah,
and a lot of students telling me, okay, uh, I don't know why, but I opened the door differently than before. It's just a very interesting movement. I never did this before. So many things can change with this because these patterns take over, and this is nice and cozy in a way. So you feel good with this,
yeah,
and you know, and this is very important. Yeah, and so re- returning to our subject uh, about the first two forms. So there is this. Uh, I would say I would call it discovery of the form. So this will be a part of it. And nowadays I cover I cover figures, or I cover form um, from different characters, as well from the wind or from the clouds. But I pack it into the Qigong part so that everyone can get familiar with this kind of structure and with this kind of feeling. So otherwise, it's really boring, to go through it again and again and again and again, like a mill. It shouldn't be a mill. It should be a playful learning, and uh, therefore, I use different media. So sometimes I as well switch on a boom box with some sound. So because what's really difficult, this morning I thought as well, this should be important for our talk today, that it's really difficult for many people to refrain from thinking and to get to bring their awareness into the heart. It's very, very difficult. My goodness, so they're not anymore capable to just sink their awareness and enjoy the broad scape of their being, in a way, their awareness. And as well, they are not anymore into their bodies, right? So there is a very important link between the center line, what we call it, so the central channel, and the generative or creative energy in us. So to me, I'm a musician. So when I was first taught uh, learning to play piano by my first piano teacher, I I really got this kind of playfulness into me, into my being. So this is a part of my my youth and my life. Um, and I love to combine this. I call it sacred rhythm, which is not like a kind of outer phenomenon, but it's also an inward phenomenon. So our heart has a rhythm. Our organs have a rhythm. Everything is vibration and resonance in us. And especially our energy system has a lot of different frequencies all over in the chakra system, or you can call it the five element system as well. You know, this is important. And therefore, sometimes it's really good to get the head free, and to get back to the rhythm. Um, you can call it the rhythm of the saints in a way, because there is a hidden rhythm in us all. Everyone a bit different, everyone in his own frequency, depending on his body and energy system. But, you know, when you're stuck in your mind, you can't access that. You can't
Like,
accept that. You have to loosen up. You have to get out of this overthinking mode. This is very important, and therefore I love to use media sometimes. Depending on the group, I love to do it. I'm a purist in a way, so I love to do it in silence. But what is really helpful as well, you can tell people if they want to try. Um, when when you are living in a town like Montreal or Berlin, with all this um, noise and things, you can plug in uh, your headphones and you can just play natural sounds like bird chirping or something like this, or a river, or natural sounds. This is one of the best I know. So just keep yourself or bring yourself into another space. And this will help enormously to bring you into the zone or into flow.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good advice. And I like also sometimes you mentioned to go and practice in nature somewhere in a park, find a
This
quiet
is the
space.
best. When you have a river or a forest or a good park, you know, every chance to go there, take it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is very helpful. But when you have long winters like in Canada or here in Berlin, you can just, yeah, plug in any kind of natural sound as well. There are some good playlists on any kind of device, or app you can use. There are so many things. So find your style, which you like most, and when you want to play faster or when you get more into action, you can just use any kind of pop, rock, jazz, or whatever you like, you know?
Yep. It's a good advice, and it's something that, as you mentioned, it's hard right now, especially in our current age that's so full of distractions, to
Yeah.
connect again with your body, which I noticed also when I go to jiu-jitsu. Like, people are very stressed, and you see their body, their muscles, they are super stressed, and they don't know how to relax and connect to their inner self, if I can call it that way.
Yeah. So historically, Wuji is coming from folk tradition. And 2000 years ago, it had been installed into the Shaolin. And Master Qi in 1992 said that 2,000 years ago, that when Wu Ji Quan had been integrated into the Shaolin system, it got a very exclusive status. So only higher monks were allowed to train it. And Wuji is standing above the two chambers of the Shaolin, he said. And by this, Wuji didn't get lost, because this saved Wu Ji Quan for being lost, because the circumstances of the people in these ages changed very, very quickly. And he mentioned that because it had been sheltered and treated as an inner essence of the Shaolin system, it survived up to the old abbot Ji Quan say, teaching master, and master teaching us. So this is really unique. And so it's a legacy, and to play it is to take care and to care for the legacy. He was very serious on that. And you honor the effort of all the persons, all the monks, all the abbots of the lineage, down to Bodhidharma. Developing this art, or imprint their unique knowledge into the art, what we get today. Yeah, and this is really important. And when the Manchu invaded this area and destroyed the Shaolin monastery, Wu Ji Quan vanished from the tradition. Yeah, and by this, we have the unique chance to learn it and to relearn it for some people. And Master mentioned that there had been one Chinese master during his lifetime who was capable of transmitting the art, but sadly, it hadn't been the case. So we have to say, okay, and I'm very, very grateful that I had the chance to learn with this great being.
And now we have the chance to learn from you. So this is
yeah, thank you.
This is amazing. And maybe we can expand a bit more, and maybe not everybody knows the Shaolin system, but from what you mentioned, this was taught, I guess, to only the high level students. So probably only a few people really got the knowledge over
yes,
the thousands of years that this art was passed down from generation to generation. And from what I remember in our talks, you mentioned this is also an unbroken transmission, I guess, from
yes. So it's an unbroken tradition, and we are about the 36th or 37th generation. Yeah, it's always difficult to talk about generations, but it's the case. So down to Bodhidharma, it's about the 36th, and to the Buddha Shakyamuni, it's about the 58 or 59.
Wow. Do you, in your research, do you know any connection between the Wuji that was passed down to Shaolin and maybe something that's related to
Before?
the Indian tradition or before, or
Yes. So the folk tradition, actually, you must know that in the Shang dynasty, there had been female shamans called Wu shamans. And when you see some paintings of these dancing shamans, or um, you see documentaries about sacred dances performed by Asian tribes in certain areas. As well, the Hakka or the Hokkien people had been had had their own culture. So Master Chi was a Hakka. So the Hokkien style and the Hakka language is quite different. So when he talked about Wuji in Hakka, it's called bouquet. So it's a bit different. So than Mandarin. And as well, all these cultures had their rites, right? And the folk tradition is rich on rites and sacred dances. And therefore, I asked Master Chi, what's about doing feng shui with it? Is there any kind of tradition in Wuji where you get this as a kind of purification rite for sites or so? And he agreed, and he said, yes. So if you learn to play in different directions, and you can do it briefly with a short form as well. So this is the Wuji Dao principle. So we learn this from the very beginning, that you get a short form first, and then you can turn around and you gain benefit from the energy circulation. So it's like a generator. And there's also rights about the first and second character, because you can understand these postures of you will find in these sets. You can uh, call them um, it's like having signs, what I said, signs or certain symbols. And when you are practicing this in 4 directions, which is a very, very good thing to do for generating energy and to get the full benefit of accumulation, especially for health and for strength, for power. You have a very, very good foundation. And when you see this, I think in Bali we had we did something very special. I will address this here because we might have the chance to get a video out of it soon. So what we did is that I, with the student, performed the rite in front of the hall we trained in Bali. And it has been a wonderful and amazing experience for everybody. And some people really brought out in tears, they were just, and I was very moved as well. So it was a very, very special thing. And I did it a few times as well for external feng shui, so for sites actually. So you can perform it when you're, of course, everyone can learn this, but the point is that you get the basis first. But when you have the basis and you play it in 4 directions, and you play it 3 times, 4, 6 times 4, and 9 times 4, you get all the way up, right? And you get a when you play it 36 times, you will really get a very unique experience about, you get a lot of kind of uh, pleasant, I would call it pleasant heaviness.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, being magnetic, electric in oneness. So it's very powerful, and it can be very tiring in the beginning.
Is there
Yeah,
any guidance how to play it in all directions? Like you start with north,
yeah,
south, or
yeah. You start in the east normally,
east?
yeah,
Okay.
and then you turn around, but it's not so important in the first place. And when you do it as a rite, it's good to start in the east. Yeah. So, but to explain this in detail would be too
Okay.
sophisticated
We'll
at the
do
moment.
another
Yeah, yeah,
another
yeah,
episode later for this.
yeah.
Okay. This is something we can, I guess, all experiment and start playing in all directions and
Yeah, and
see how we feel.
you will learn this by playing the first part of the first form. You learn to turn, because this can be quite, yeah, for some it's quite irritating when you change the direction, especially in the beginning. So Master
Yeah.
changed the Wu Ji Quan in one direction. So because our group in the past, we got, especially when there were new people not knowing how to turn, they got really confused, and we all got were getting mixed up. So it's good to have one direction first, and
Okay.
then first to have the basics right, and then you can turn. But um, the good thing is, with this special training, to break up this in parts and to change direction, you can get uh, your daily workout very easy with
Yeah.
a small form where everything is in, or almost everything is inside. And yeah, it's easy. So you learn how to be flexible, and every start of the form is a new day. So it's what is the saying, like, Zen mind, beginner's mind. So it's just every breath is a new day. So you do it, you breathe, that's it. And you start again, but it's different. It's always different. So what we relate to in Wu Ji Quan is the change, the constant change, which we call as well in Buddhism wind of karma. There is no stopping. Everything is decaying and creating every time. So it's just a cycle. And so the Wuji sets are a cycle. You know, everything comes from the source and is returning back to the source. Yeah? You come from Wuji and you go back to Wuji. So how beautiful!
Yeah, this is really special. And how about the mirroring? So you do it in all directions, but do you do it also on the other side in
What do you mean
mirror?
with
Or
mirroring?
so let's say we do the opening and then we go to the right. Do
Yeah.
you recommend people to try to do it on the other side?
Ah,
Try.
yeah, sometimes. So, but in the beginning, the first form yin and the first two forms have a full spectrum of impact for the body, and all movements are interconnected in and um, are are showing uh, a hidden um, bonding between the movement and the organs. So you can refer to Wuji as, on the outer you have a form, on the inner you have a kind of internal massage. So external to inner, yeah?
Yeah.
And this will be internal to inner.
Okay.
So this is called internals because it's the internal to inner. So the Qigong part in every movement, as well in the Wu Ji Quan, you can call it better, we call it the Neigong, inside the Wu Ji Quan, is about this. It's about the tuina, the intuitive movement of the internal fascia, moving around and bringing the organs into better function and into better shape as well. Must emphasize that by this, the capacity for storing qi of the organ will rise and heightened in capacity. So up to the point that you get to a kind of gear or protective qi, yeah,
Okay.
which is very good as well for martial purpose and for health.
Wow, super. I guess this will be enough for today for our podcast.
Okay.
And I'm also encouraging people to write questions to
Yeah,
in the comment
please.
section or on the Facebook, and then I'll make sure I get them and I can ask you in a future podcast. So if everybody wants to ask you some questions, I guess that would be a good
Yeah.
way for them to do it.
And as well, what I want to mention here that soon we will get the wind and clouds as on the online platform of the Martial Man.
Wow.
So I'm very happy, and as well, there is a lot of exploration, and yeah, I'm very happy that this release will be out soon.
And I have to be honest, before our interview, I checked Martial Man to see if the course is online, and looks like it's in maintenance mode. So maybe now they're gonna update and post it. If it's live, I will
I
link
had
it to the workshop.
I got a message by Kieran Krieger
Okay.
from the Martial Man. Yeah, I'm very
Okay.
happy.
I will
Yeah,
put it in the description, so if people are curious about the wind
yeah,
and the cloud, they can find it there.
yeah,
So
yeah. And also the conditions change according to economy and everything. That people really can get access to this. And
super.
yeah,
Can't wait. This is exciting. So I'll post it
yeah.
here. So check Martial Man, check the Wuji International website for the workshops. I will link them here. And if people have any questions, really post them in the comments, and I'll get the list, and I'll make sure I can ask you all those questions next time. So I would say thank you so
Okay.
much, everyone, for watching. Thank you so much, Dr. Ortwin, for taking the time to answer some questions,
Thank you,
and
Marcel,
see you soon.
and see you soon.